Good morning. My name is Leanne Peters. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au and Temple of Balance on Facebook, Temple of Balance on YouTube, and also from Harmony on High Street in Campbelltown, Tasmania. So welcome. I am here to pull some cards and share some guidance for this week ahead. That's this week starting the 6th of October through to the 12th of October 2025. So I do trust that this video finds you well. I am coming to you live right now from Tasmania, Australia, where it is Monday the 6th of October and the time is 9:05 a.m. So welcome. I want to send out a big extra special welcome to my Temple of Balance patrons, my Pillar of Light members, and all of those of you who support my work through my website or through my gallery at Harmony on High Street. I thank you so much for your support. Your support helps me be able to keep being here and sharing these videos and hopefully supporting you. So thank you so much. So for those of you who are new, welcome. Thought I dropped a card, but nothing came out. What I'm going to be doing is using my Oracle cards. These are Oracle cards I created and illustrated a few years ago now. We have Animal Kingdom Oracle cards combined with my Speed of Light Oracle cards here. These have been combined. I made them the same size so that they couldn't be combined. And here in my hand are 110 cards, which is lots of fun. So we get to really see what the cards want to show us. The more cards you have, the more options you have for the week, in this case. So my suggestion or recommendation is for you to take on board what feels right and what resonates and what fits into your life easily and let the rest go. If it doesn't make sense to you, it's okay. Just let it go. I'd be very, very surprised if 100% of what I shared makes sense to you. So I think even 50%, if there's something that you can take away from here that supports you as you move forward into your week, then that's a good thing. So think of this as a guide. Let's allow ourselves to be surprised, no expectations, and see what happens. Hi, Yoli, welcome. And welcome everybody. So let's get started. I'm looking for the best cards that the majority of us need for this week ahead, starting Monday the 6th of October through to Sunday the 12th of October 2025. So the best cards that the majority of us need are these. I'm going to just lay them face down here, so just bear with me a second as I just duck out of shot. Okay, let's start Monday the 6th of October. I've got these face down so I can't see them. We have 4 Speed of Light, 2 Animal Kingdom, and this is our first, a Speed of Light Oracle card for Monday the 6th of October, and we have floating card 12. This says a spontaneous calling, mental break and escape. This card suggests that some of us need a break, maybe need to step away from our everyday surroundings or the everyday stresses that we're currently feeling burdened or overwhelmed by. This card's very much saying or suggesting that if we take a break, even if it's just a short break, it might be for a short drive or a quick walk around the neighbourhood, or it could be overnight somewhere, whatever fits into what we've got going on. It doesn't have to be today, but maybe we could think about it today. Maybe we need it today. Maybe we could plan it in the next couple of weeks or whatever suits our schedule. But this is suggesting that some of us need a break, especially if we've been feeling overwhelmed and there's mental stresses that we're just feeling an ongoing burden about those mental stresses. So this is about taking a break. Often when this card comes up, it shows that there is a new perspective for us to tap into. And when we're in the pressures of our everyday life and the stresses, and we're still in the realm of overwhelm, if we're still being pressured by whatever we're feeling pressured by, it can be very hard to shift our perspective. We're so close in the forest that we can't see the forest for the trees. We're just seeing all the trees up close, and it's hard to get perspective. So this card also shows that if we can take a break, even if it's a short break, a step away from our everyday stresses, that it's likely we'll return feeling refreshed with a new perspective. So sometimes we need to detach or distance ourselves from the pressure so that we can come back refreshed and come back with perspective. I remember a long time ago, many years ago now actually, when I was feeling quite just a bit, I suppose we could say overwhelmed, and I was like, right, I'm going to visit my grandmother, and at the time it was a 4 or 5 hour round trip. So I went for the drive, had some music on, went to see her, and here she is, this dear elderly woman, basically at the end of her life, the last years of her life, and people around her are passing away, her siblings, her best friends, and I'm thinking, jeepers, the problems I had are nothing compared to what this dear old lady was dealing with. So I think sometimes we just need to step away just to get some perspective of our life. Sometimes we don't realise that we might have it better or easier than, say, others, or sometimes things could be worse. So if we need to take a break, if things are just feeling pressured, then it might be good to take a break. And in fact, if we're feeling overwhelmed, every time I feel overwhelmed, which is not that often these days, thankfully, every time I feel overwhelmed, I know that means I have to take a break. I have to step away, because if I can step away, even though it seems counterintuitive, because there's so much to be done, I actually see that there's actually not as much as I thought. So sometimes our mind makes things worse and more complicated and more overwhelming than they really are. So taking a break, needing a break, potentially, we'll be considering around Monday. Now, Tuesday, the 7th of October, we have another Speed of Light Oracle card. Good morning, Andreas and Leanne and Renee. Good morning. We have the card 2 called Prayer. Card 2, Prayer. Ask, help, answers, improvement. This is asking for help. This is putting our requests for help out there. What do we need help with? That can be a good first thing to figure out. What is it that I need? You know, I need help. Okay, what do I need help with, or what do I need help for? So putting it out there on the winds of the prayer, or putting it out there with our intentions, or even just getting clear in our own heart and mind about what is it that we need, what is it that we need help with, and also maybe considering what do we need to improve about ourselves, our relationships, our life, and the things that we've got going on in our life. So this is about putting that request out there and then letting help come. We have this terrible tendency as humans, I've noticed over the years, to push help away, that we get so stubborn in our own little world when we need help and people offer help and we go, no, I can do it, leave me alone, basically. But what if we, instead of saying, no, I don't need help, what if instead we said, well, actually, yes, thank you, I could use some help right now. So sometimes we need the help, we want the help, but we push it away. So let's make sure we're not pushing it away, and let's make sure we're clear about the help that we need, and let's ask for help if we need it. The worst someone could say is no, and then maybe we could ask someone else or shift things up a little bit. So prayer, asking for help and improvement. Wednesday, the 8th of October, another Speed of Light Oracle. Hi, Lisa. We have Pause, card 25. This says hold, time, transition, suspension, and limbo. Some of us may already feel like we're in a limbo, that where something's hovering, something's not proceeding, the green light hasn't quite turned on yet. We're in a holding pattern, that sort of feeling. It has been around, so some of us may already be feeling that. Even if we're busy, it's like there's this weird sense, like in the physical we're busy, mentally we're busy, but there is just something underneath that feels like it's in a bit of a holding pattern, or feels like it's waiting for the green light, waiting for the signal to go. So during that time, that holding pattern time, it's usually a test of patience, and also a trusting in perfect timing. So trusting in the timing of things, that when the green light is best needed to turn on, it will. When it's the most optimal time for that door to open, it will open. When it's the most optimal time for that door to close, it will close. So let's be ready, and in some ways we might be preparing ourselves for that door to open, for that green light to turn on, for us to slip out of the holding pattern. So something might be preparing to line up behind the scenes that we can't see yet. So we can trust in the bigger picture, and we can trust in perfect timing, and we can use this time to tend to other things. Maybe support our healing, or tie up some loose ends if we've got loose ends to tie up. Enjoy something. Maybe we can get out our paints from the cupboard, or get something out that we've been putting off because we hadn't had time. Maybe this is a good time to get some things happening that have been on the back burner for a while we wait. So there is this sense of pause. Something is in pause. Something is in a holding pattern for some of us. So it will open at the right time. We can trust that. Okay, so that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Let's go Thursday and Friday with this card. So we've got the 9th and the 10th of October, Speed of Light Oracle again. And we have the Temple of Maya for Thursday, Friday. This is great. This is card 51. It says manifestation, revelation, and purpose. This card brings structure. It usually or can talk about a building of significance. So not our everyday home or our everyday work, but some type of building that's of significance. And at the very least, some structure, which is what the building energy kind of also represents, structure, building structure in our life from a solid foundation, and looking at the structure of our life, what feels like it's in chaos, and how can we bring more order to that chaos? How can we bring more structure to the way we spend our time, for example, or the way we're approaching our life? How can we bring more structure to our relationships? Can we connect with people that we haven't connected with for a while? How can we bring more structure to our life? What do we need in our life? And maybe reflecting on that as well. So structure coming in for Thursday, Friday. This is good because structure is stability. Structure brings stability and I guess too in some ways a supportive energy. It's security, it's stability, is structure. So if you're feeling the opposite of that, if you're not feeling much security, if you're feeling insecure or unstable, then it might be worth looking at as we move towards Thursday, Friday, is how can I get myself ready for more structure? Do I need to look at my routine or my priorities, how I spend my time? What needs more structure? In other words, what feels chaotic and messy and overwhelming? Because that's usually the opposite of structure. So where can we bring more structure into our life? This card also talks about manifestation, so bringing something into form, which is very interesting with the card before, talking about something being on hold, something being in a holding pattern or on pause. This is like the manifestation of something. So we might even find quite quickly that if it's the same situation, that something manifests, something presents itself, something comes into form in the physical fairly quickly, especially towards the end of the week. And feeling a sense of purpose this card brings. So the structure, bringing that structure in will likely help support our feeling of purpose and feeling more purposeful, like our life has some purpose and that we feel like we belong to this life and we belong to the life that we're creating. So it does bring a nice grounded feeling, this particular card, a nice structured feeling, a nice stable and secure feeling. So that's towards the end of the week. Now we move to our 2 Animal Kingdom Oracle cards, one for each day of the weekend. So I'm going to we'll look at these or turn these over together. So this is Saturday, this is Sunday, the 11th, 12th of October, and we have these. Wowzers. Okay. We've got the Raven, which was our theme last week. So the Raven's in place, card 17, and we've got 17 live viewers, I noticed too. And then we have the Air Dragon, and the Air Dragons are the most powerful cards in the deck. So this is looking like a pretty powerful weekend coming up. Let's look at Saturday first, the Raven, card 17 for the 11th of October. It says, face your shadow with honesty. So we had this as our theme last week with the stellar cycle, which talks about 1 year or the long term. As a lot of us at the moment, or last week especially, we're looking towards 2026. What are we going to do next year as we move forward and in the long term? This card came up with that. So it's hovering at the moment. this energy of the shadow. This is shadow. This is our fear that comes up and rides in the shadows. The shadows also contain things that are hidden, things that are mysterious or hidden to us that we don't know ourselves. It could be, what could it be? It could be anything. It could be like knowledge in regards to something we're curious about. It could be something we're confused about, and or a question, and what's the answer to that. Anything that's kind of unknown to us, it's mysterious, it's in the shadows. This is what this card represents. And a lot of the time too, fear comes up, connection with the unknown in the shadows. So what's been hovering? This is also an energy that feels like it sits under the surface, because if it was on the surface, if it was something we were clear about, it would already be known to us. So because this is a shadowy card, it shows that there's something under the surface. There's something hidden from us that we might be trying to figure out. Why do I feel this way? Why is this situation feeling strange now? Just certain questions we might have about things about our life or aspects of our life or ourselves. And these questions that don't have answers yet, this is in the shadow. So it's under the surface. It's under the surface for us. So we've been encouraged, especially around Saturday, but at the moment, to face those shadowy energies, those questions, those uncertainties, that fear, to face it honestly. How do we honestly feel about this? What is our honest fear in this situation? What are we scared of? What are we truly scared of? Not what we think we're scared of, but what are we actually scared of? And facing this energy that sits under the surface, that hovers under there, this shadowy energy, facing it as honestly as we can, will help bring it into the light and bring it up to the surface. So it helps bring the answers to our questions forth if we can look at those questions honestly and answer them as honestly as we can. So as much as this is a confronting energy, I mean, the shadowy fear energy is confronting, we need to confront it with our honesty. It's also a great opportunity to bring that which we are uncertain about and maybe feeling uncomfortable about, bringing it to the surface and bringing it to the light. And then we've got nothing to fear about it anymore because we understand it better. So understanding, there may be research needed too as we look into things that we're uncertain about. And then for Sunday, we have the Air Dragon, card 27. And it says, your mind is powerful. So the Air Dragon aligns us with the air element, especially over Sunday and the weekend. The air element tends to be quite a mental energy, so quite connected with the mind. So we might find, and in fact, there's quite a few we've got taking a mental break. We've got prayers and asking for help. This is a very mental energy. We've got pause. This can be a mental energy while we're in a holding pattern and being tested on patience. And then we've got the shadow energy, and the shadow that we're facing with honesty. This is also quite a mental energy, really, because we're thinking about things, we're asking ourselves questions, and this is the air element. So I think I'm seeing just a bit of a pattern or a theme here around the mind. We might find our mind and things are whipping up. It's very windy outside. It's been windy for the last few days. In fact, probably all of September. So the wind is whipping up, the mind is whipping up, the air is whipping up. So we might find ourselves confronted by our thoughts, but also this being an opportunity to work better with our thoughts and get the lower thoughts, the more negative, useless thoughts out, and get back in charge of our thoughts and back in charge of our mind, so that we can use our mind for the powerful things that our mind is designed to be used for, to learn, to discover, to find knowledge, to think things through, to be rational in certain situations. So what is it what's the state of your mind, and what do you need to do to support a reconnection with the powerful elements of your mind, so that you're not allowing your monkey mind to take over. Your lower mind that wants to drive you off a cliff is not in the driver's seat of your life. How can you get your lower mind out of the driver's seat of your life and you step in with determination and focus into the driver's seat yourself so that you can steer where you want your life to go using the power of your mind. So I think the mind is very powerful this week. We might find that we're led to the opposite. So we might find things trying to distract us mentally. We might find ourselves just on a tangent with our monkey mind, our mind that just goes around in circles, thinking the worst, doubting, feeling insecure, running with the fear, all that kind of stuff that just wants to be in charge. It wants to be in charge. Of course it does. But we don't need to let it be in charge. We can step up and say, no, I'm not letting you be in charge. Out. And banishing that part of us from being in control in our life. And we step up and we do exercises and things to reconnect with and work better with the power of our mind. Meditation helps. Doing mental exercises certainly helps. I find I'm doing Sudoku every morning when I have my breakfast. I have been for years. And I find that a great thing to do just to keep my mind focused. I don't have notifications on my phone at all. I check Facebook and social media when I choose to, not when notifications notify me. I don't have email on my phone. I am very strict with my boundaries. I think it might be a boundary thing too, where I'm not allowing the just general distractions to take away from what I'm currently focused on, excuse me, so that I can get my work done and get the things done that I'm focusing on at the time. Anyway, that's our cards for this week. I am going to pull a theme card, so we'll see what comes up there. But before I do that, I want to thank you for joining me today. If you have enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button. Please show us some love. Please comment or share if you're inspired too. So we have some things coming up this week. We've got my next card reading club happening on Thursday. That's Thursday the 9th of October. And our theme is bridges. And it might be, what on earth does that mean? Bridges? I'm thinking of bridging the gap between this thing and that thing. So how can we bridge things together? Bridging energy is very interesting because it helps bridge separation between one point and another point, or us and another person, us and our life, us and ourselves. We can have a big gap just between ourselves, in ourselves, with ourselves. So looking at where the gaps are and how can we bridge these gaps is what we're going to be doing on Thursday for my card reading club. It's happening on Zoom, so it doesn't matter where you are, you can join me if you wish. And on Friday, the 10th of October, we're starting our animal series in the online art class, and we're looking at the snake. We're diving straight into the fearful energy, because the snake energy is very confronting, but it's very strong at the moment, and it sort of feels like a good time to be doing that this week with all this mental energy that's around as well. So that's on Friday on Zoom as well. You're very welcome to join me for either or both of those if you're interested. And I've just opened some painting retreats in Tasmania for May and August next year. So if that's something you might be interested in coming to Tasmania for, please have a look on my leannepeters.com website. If you want to learn more about my cards I've used today or the work I do at Temple of Balance, please visit templeofbalance.com.au. Okay, and if you're ever in Tasmania, come and see us at our gallery, Harmony on High Street in Campbelltown, right in the middle of Tasmania. So the best card I'm looking for now for our theme for this week, the 6th till the 12th of October. And the best card for our theme to bring this whole week together and help us see the bigger picture is this. It's a Speed of Light Oracle card. And we have Scattered. Oh, I shouldn't laugh, should I? Because, this is so in line with what I've been talking about, because the very first word says overwhelm. I've already talked about that quite in depth. Confusion, concentrate, which is the mind, so getting the mind into focus. It's up to us. We can be distracted by just silly things that pull our attention mentally away, or we could decide to hone our mental powers in and use them to our benefit in our life. And we can do that. It's up to us to choose that. And plan. So plan is also about getting things into focus What is a doable plan to help us through? It doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, complicated plans don't tend to be great unless we have a handle on the complication of the plan. But sometimes it's just a simple plan. Making my bed today, that could be my plan for the next week if I'm trying to get myself out of having my lower mind in charge. So it can just be simple, doable things, small things, little things, regularly each day, and then we can increase them as our mental capacity expands and we become more aligned with the power of our mind and working better with it. So this is card 13. It's scattered. It shows this windy, chaotic energy around. This has been present. This is not new. It's been present probably for the last couple of weeks, on and off, in and out, up and down. You know, it's sort of coming in. It is highlighting this windy energy too that's around, this mental energy. It's chaos. This is pure chaos. It's scattered. It shows that some of us are probably feeling overwhelmed. If you missed the beginning of this video, I talked about that a fair bit. So we might be feeling that. Like I said then, overwhelm, if we feel it, it's a sure sign we need a break because something's going on with our mind and we're just blowing things out of proportion. So taking a break, stepping back, taking the afternoon off or whatever we can do can help give us perspective. What I do when I'm feeling overwhelmed is okay, my mind thinks I've got 100 things to do. So I'm okay, let's write a list down of this 100 things because, you know, I need to be able to see what it is so I can tick it off my list, get some order back into my overwhelmed mind. And I think it's 100. I go and write down the list and I'm like, there's surely more than this, and there's probably 10 things or less. So it's like, okay, my mind is totally blowing this out of proportion. I'm just going to go for a walk or do some exercise or take the afternoon off or whatever's appropriate. So, you know, we can question our mind. We can question, is that thought of doubt that I have about myself, is that valid? Or is that just what I hear my mother saying to me when I was younger? So we can question our mind. In fact, it's good to do that. And it might be great to do that this week with our mind being so sort of out of control potentially. This is scattered energy, but it brings new energy in. So on the back of this, it's like raw creativity. It's like primal energy. And it brings with it energy that's potential. It has potential for us to create and build something new for our life. So there is great potential. There's great potential this week. But we might have to really look closely, especially at our mind and what we're thinking. The most important thing to do first is to pay attention to what we're thinking. Notice the thoughts that are going through our mind. Because if we don't notice what we're thinking, then it's just like background noise while we're just going about our life. So let's listen to our thoughts and notice exactly what we're thinking so that we can decide and determine, are those thoughts I want to be thinking? Are they supportive and healthy for me? That's what I ask. Is that thought healthy and supportive for me? No, it's not. I need to get it out then, and I need to focus on something else or refocus myself. So we can, if we pay attention to the dialogue that's happening in our mind, then we can proactively take the steps we need to take to shift what we're thinking and how we think. And we have the ability to do that, absolutely. So let's pay attention. Let's take steps that we need to take to support a better focus and a stronger mind, and then use our stronger mind to support us in our life and our endeavours in our life as well. So that's our theme. Fits in nicely with what I was thinking and feeling here anyway. So have a good week, and I'll see you again soon. Take care of yourself. Goodbye for now.